Hello everyone. I'm just going to go over what we managed to get done today. So, first of all, I need to just save all of that and go to the main menu. We're going to start by looking at what we started yesterday, which was our options menu. So, this is all still the same, and this is all still the same. Let's make it full screen. Let's make it 12 by 17. And it's not full screen, but I think that's because I'm opening it in the standalone thing, I think. I don't know. Anyway, not super important. Um, let's just talk about what we did manage to achieve today. So pixelation can be switched off, or it could be light, medium, or heavy. We'll leave it off for now. We have noir mode, which is sort of a little reference to, I think it was the first Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I remember playing that quite a bit, particularly that level with the big ship, the big boat. That was a really fun level to play with noir mode set on, and that just makes everything black and white, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll turn that on. And gamma now works as well, so it's kind of a cheat. You could turn it up really high and then nowhere is particularly dark. But you could also make the game very difficult by turning it down. So I'm not going to turn it down all the way, just a little bit. And yeah, subtitles doesn't do anything yet, and the audio doesn't do anything, or the language, because we don't have any audio or dialogue yet, so those things will come later. I mean, we do have some audio, but once all the audio is in, then we'll go back and set the options for that. So no pixelation, black and white mode on, gamma turned down. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, and I need to tell you, that is our ghost right there. And if I try to move, I can only move extremely slowly. But if I look directly at the ghost, I think I need to make it so that my raycast for looking at the ghost goes through the wall. Because we can see the ghost through the wall, but what we can't do is, like, we're firing a ray to detect if we're looking at the ghost, and these things will block the rays. So the ray was hitting the wall, and the ghost was outside, and he slowly came in, and once he came in, that was when he disappeared. So what I'm thinking is, see, this is what it's like with a low gamma and setting it to black and white. I think it looks very spooky, and this is with no pixelation. So just jump back quickly so we can have a look again. In fact, yeah, I think if we go standalone game, then it'll work properly. But I'm glad that I tested that, and I've revealed another error in my ways, which is just that I need to make that second raycast that the player fires, because we have a raycast that we fire when we're interacting with objects, but that second raycast is obviously not working. So we'll turn the gamma up a bit higher this time, and we'll turn the noir mode off. And yes, the full screen does work when we're doing the standalone. And so here we are. And there is our ghost creeping towards us through the wall. And yeah, it wasn't really obvious with the gamma turned down, but you can see now that there's kind of like a noise on the screen. And this is kind of cool, because if I set this on, just so that we can go inside. So I've made it so that we only need to turn one lamp on to open that door, because I was testing the player's proximity to that door. And I need to change a couple things, because I want this area to be included in it, because there's a bit of a rough kind of spike right here, which doesn't look great. But what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Interesting. So as you can see, with the gamma up, it's very, we can see the hole very far away. It's not dark at all now, you know. But let's see if this is still working or if it's broken. What we're looking at is the sound of the crackle and the thickness of our noise. Doesn't appear to be working at all. I wonder why that is. Because it was working earlier. Just thinking what it could be. Oh, I think it's because maybe I just need to take the player outside. I think that might be it. No, because the trigger's over here, isn't it? Yeah. So basically, this trigger is to detect if we're in or outside the house, and this should be over here. But I'm thinking about how I want to switch things, like in what sequence can we go through the house. No, I probably will keep it here, but I'm thinking about the sequence of ways to get into the house. So very quickly, let's see if we can find what's causing this problem. Because it's all in the player. Event tick, line trace by channel. If it's true, okay, I think we just need to connect this back up to here. And with this one, this is the bit where I need to make it so that actors to ignore would be all actors except for the ghost, because this is only used for the ghost. That should be it, and I'll talk a little bit about my plan with the ghost. Because yeah, right now it is just a cube that flies towards the player. But what I'm imagining is that they spawn at random moments in the game. And when they spawn, so the thing I haven't done yet is controlling how, when they spawn. But when they spawn, we basically can't move at all. Like, we can move extremely slowly. But you know, you might be over here and then suddenly you'll be like, oh, I can't move right now. What's going on? And then you'll turn around and there's the ghost behind you. And when you look at the ghost, everything's back to normal. And if the ghost gets to you before you turn around and look at it, then it'll be game over. But I think everything else should be working now. So let's look at the noise and the crackling. Yeah, it's set to true. Did I turn that lamp on? Yes. No, I didn't. Do 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 do. Still need to figure that out as well. It's like for a split second when we change its material, it loads that material in. So I might need to make some way for it to kind of load the material in ahead of time. No, still seems to not be working. So very quickly, let's take another look at what's going on here. So once it's been looked at, or cast failed, it might be that. Let's try that now. Quickly. I hope it's that. Because I want to show you this bit, because I did this earlier, I was quite happy. I wanted to show you everything in a chronological order, but once I start playing the game, obviously, you get introduced to the ghost. Because there he is. And once he gets through the wall, gone. So I kind of want to make it so that because they're going to be spawning in a random position, like the player might be standing here, and then the ghost is going to spawn behind him, and I don't want the ghost to be stuck in the wall. And so that cube will basically render through anything. Like, it doesn't matter where the ghost is, we'll be able to see the ghost. But now you can see there was a bit of a spike, and that's kind of why I need to make some adjustments with how we get into the house. So I think we're actually going to find a key in the garage, and when we find the garage key, it'll open up this door. And so we'll start the game coming in here. And so it'll kind of gradually start building up. You can see it's quite noisy. And now we will go to... Did I turn that lamp on? I can't really tell. I don't think I did. No. I did the same thing again. Ah. Anyway, lamp is on now. So the door to the master bedroom is on. And... let's get closer and closer and closer and closer to the scary end game sequence. So this is where the game ends. Is just around the corner. We won't go around the corner. I'll let it stay mysterious. But as you can see, we basically can't see anything now except all of this noise. And it doesn't look great, but... Oops. I meant that. We'll turn this down a bit. We'll just set it. Well, we'll set it down. Set it down. Why not? We'll go light. And yes, we still need to add some sort of a loading screen. I'm actually thinking I might use the noise as the loading screen because I quite like the noise. So now, very quickly, let's see how that looks. So, little bit darker, not too dark. But now we should get a bit of a spike. Yeah. See, the noise definitely looks much better when the gamma's a bit lower, I think. There we go. That's about the peak. So yeah, basically the closer we get to the place where we win the game, the louder the noise sound effect is, and the more obvious the visual noise that's on the screen the whole time is. And yeah, I need to control how and when the ghosts will spawn. But the moment a ghost spawns, the player is kind of much slower, like they can't really move. And I'll just show you how the ghost looks from outside, because this way he won't be appearing through the wall, but he'll look exactly the same because the wall doesn't affect their appearance at all. I did have it solid white earlier, so I may not keep it being that translucent. It might be solid. It really depends on the kind of image that I end up using, because it's a plane, and so I can just apply an image onto that plane. But yeah, and I might make its area a bit larger so that it kind of gets turned off a bit faster. But let's wait for everything to load in first. And we'll keep it on the edge of our screen. We won't look directly at it. But as you can see, it's the monster is chasing us. It's coming closer and closer, and we're too slow. That it should be able to catch us. Yeah, especially if I stop for a second, because the speed at which I go up. Ah, interesting, and we can still collide with him, I think. There's something here that we're colliding with. So I have a feeling that that's the ghost, even though I don't think it's the ghost. Because he should get destroyed. Like, I'm pretty sure the whole actor gets destroyed. Anyway, that's basically it today. We got our options menu a little bit more flexible. We have a couple of different options for controlling the overall appearance. We can turn off pixelation if we want, so it's optional if you want the game to be really pixelated. And we can set it to be black and white if we want. We can also control how dark or light the game is. But not from inside the game. It all happens outside the game at the moment. So maximum gamma, as you can see, everything is very clear. But I don't really like the way that the gamma is affecting the noise, because this is supposed to be the subtle noise. But you know, that might just be, you're not supposed to have the gamma up very high. Like, that's cheating. So if you're willing to cheat, you have to look at the noise. If that makes sense. Turn off pixelation, crank up the resolution nice and high, set the gamma to be about in the middle. And turn off alarm mode. So yeah, we need to add a loading screen so that everything loads in time. But yeah, I'm also imagining there's going to be an audio component, so the moment the player starts going really slowly, a very scary song will start playing, and the player basically just has to turn around and face the monster, and then the monster will disappear. And as we go through the game, it'll start happening more frequently, they'll start appearing closer to the player, they might start moving faster. I might keep them going at the same speed, but just have them appear closer each time. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah. Oh. Oh, what's it? What is it? What is it? Yeah. So there we go. We're getting there. We got most of the stuff working. I actually decided I was gonna do the torch flickering before I put the ghost in, but then I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I thought, you know, the game is so dark anyway that if the torch is going off, you're not really going to be able to see really where you're going at all, and that might not be very fun. And also, we have this persistent noise that's happening all the time. So I think there's enough things to make it atmospheric and spooky. We don't need the torch going off. Because, I mean, I like the torch because it provides contrast between the light and the dark. Like here, there's no, you know, we're just looking in a light area and we feel calm. But over here, it's kind of like, you can only see what you're looking at, and you're going to reveal things as you look. I'm also thinking, yeah, there's going to be a little delay when we look at the ghost so that it doesn't disappear straight away. It takes a little bit of time to disappear, because I want to have a little bit of time for the player to see the ghost. There'll be some sound effect when the ghost dies. Yeah, footsteps, ghost sounds, dialogue, triggers and things. Still quite a lot to do, but we're cracking on, we're making good progress. I'm pretty happy with the overall direction that things are going in. So, thanks everybody. Bye bye.